that's nobody else. Got something for you, but keep it to yourself. I'm feeling curious, want to explore it. Nothing too serious. Forget the world for a minute. Before we know it, the future's the past. Seize the moment while we're in it. Hold on to each other as long as it lasts. I don't care about forever, 'cause sometimes forever is over so fast. Hush, hush, baby, come in here with me. I want for you to go. No need to worry, there is no hurry to stay. We'll take it slow.
What is your
The 2K Sports Pregame Show.
This is 2K Sports. Ernie Johnson here, joined by the great Shaquille O'Neal and the equally great Kenny the Jet Smith. And on tap tonight, it's the Minnesota Timberwolves going up against the Portland Trail Blazers. Checking out the Trail Blazers, playing above 500 in the last few weeks. Not bad. They'd like to do better. We'll see if they can add a win tonight. And Damian Lillard has been in the top tier of point guards ever since he came into the league. You never hear much about him being the best point guard, but he has to be right up there. I mean, he's got to be right up. No, but he's got to be right up there.
Yeah, he's underrated, though. The fans underrate him.
The point I'm trying to make, Kenny, if you let me finish, he's got to be right up there.
Okay, I thought you said
Is he got to be right up there?
He's up there. I'm just saying that we don't hear about him being the best because he's not. But he is close. He is close. He's in the top.
Kind of reminds me of what I said. He's up there.
He's up there.
How close is he up there?
I mean, he's up there pretty close. He gets overlooked by the media, and but he's as good as any scorer at the point guard position in the league. He's up there.
Thank you for joining us. I hope you found this
entertaining.
He's
not the best,
though. He's up there.
If you didn't find it entertaining, I hope at least you found it time-consuming. Here's Kevin Harlan.
K Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the NBA.
And now, your Minnesota Timberwolves starting five. At power forward, standing 6'8", number 67, Ty Gibson.
Hello and thanks for joining us, 2K Sports fans, for another exciting presentation of NBA basketball with Kari-Anthony, Chris Webber, and David Aldridge, Kevin Harlan. And we have a surprise guest, folks. Here he is, the four-time All-NBA first-teamer, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, NBA champion, which he's probably most happy about, most proud of, Kevin Garnett. Thanks so much for joining us for the game.
Man, thank you for having me, man. Shout out to 2K. You know what it is, 2K? Right. OBF all day, you know? Yeah.
Man, you can't play 2K while we're doing 2K.
No, we can't play it right now, but I'm waiting. Shout to Shaq on this cover.
Whoa!
Goodness.
No, come on.
Woo.
Wow. Well, Leonard is great at spotting the open man. He knows it's his responsibility to get his guys going.
Pass to Towns. Shoots over Nurkic. Towns, no luck. And KG, you're retired from the game now, and you're stepping into the broadcast business a little bit now, aren't you?
Man,
Yeah.
you
How do
see
you
me?
like it? How do you like it?
You know what? Area 21 is something that is authentic. It's me. I'm having a great time watching the games. It's really cool being a fan now. I can root for people I want to root for. I don't have to worry about preparing and who I'm a guard and I'm getting the tea. So you know what? It's a great time. It's work. You know, it's not just you go on there and you have a bunch of fun. You know, we actually get some things done, but we have a great time, man.
You're a natural.
Hey, Kev, listen, watching you, being around you, you know, man, the great, rest in peace to Craig, you know, Ernie, Charles, all these great influences, man, has definitely helped. Not just me, but our younger generations of broadcasters, man. It's totally, I didn't see this being my lane, but I'm having fun with it.
Doing a great job. Banked in off the glass. Towns has got his second bucket tonight. And KG, 2 decades later, you still look the same. You don't age. You do not.
Listen, man, listen, I wish I could use the Beyonce. I woke up like this, but actually I woke up like this and worked out some more and then worked out a little more to look like this.
You look terrific.
You look great too, man. What's the secrets, man?
I'm following you, watching your advice.
Yeah, right. You've been doing this way, man. Ken, what year is this for you, seriously?
Broadcast in the NBA. 20 years and then 12 years with 2K.
Man, you're a beast, man. You know what I love about 2K, man? They bring the best in for the best. You understand my dude? Straight up.
That's why we've got
down.
you. But Kevin, you play this game a lot, don't you? Man, especially when you were young.
Man, listen, man. 2K is it, bro. Hey, there's no other games out here. This is what it is. If you play basketball, if you online, nobody's playing nothing else. This is it.
Yeah.
2K is the cream of the crop. It's the gang. They know what it is. It's lit. They know what it is. Seriously, I ain't got to do this. They know.
Just about 2 minutes into the game, first quarter of basketball. They grab their own miss. Hits. Count that one from Nurkic.
Love the grit on the offensive glass. Those are just effort clips.
And the dunk by Towns.
And guys, he's not an easy man to stop when he's got the rim in his sights.
Never has been, never will be. He is a determined finisher. Towns with the steal. And the dunk by Towns.
And that's how you make a steal count. Turn it into a quick slam at the other end.
It was really a case, it looked like Kari-Anthony right there, if I can say so. It was really a case of a great defensive play triggering some instant offense.
Oh, well, that's because it was terrific anticipation. Also, the quick hands, a lethal combination.
Kevin, we see some coaches get extremely emotional on the sideline. Others take a more even-keeled approach, more calm on the sideline. Which coaching style would you prefer to play for when you were in your prime? Did you want a coach who was animated, or did you want a coach who was just kind of settled on the sideline?
You know what? I like the coach that was settled on the sideline. You know, I like to think that great coaches are going to be able to coach you in practice, and then during the games, you know, it's about the product and what you put out on the floor.
Yes.
You know, coaches that have understanding, coaches that have vision, coaches that understand the game, understand that this is a game of runs, know that it's a game of momentum, and have plays for those momentums and those times, or coaches that I've always gravitated to and understood that
like Doc was kind of in between, wasn't he? Little bit of emotion, but that he could also have a calm demeanor on that side.
Doc was on fire. I'm sorry. There was nothing calming about Doc.
I'm trying to cover Doc's back here.
No, shout to Doc. Doc will rip your head off if you wasn't supposed to. But you know what? You need to play with that edge. You needed to know that if you wasn't in your spot, 1 through 15, you understood that you were supposed to be there, and it's good to play with that. I think that you don't want to be out there playing like, this is no big deal. Every play is a big deal. And no play, absolutely. And you know what? That severity, and you play with that importance, and, knowing that you're playing for the next guy. So, that's important.
first free throw is good.
And for a player with his size, Towns has always been very comfortable at the free throw line. And that's a good thing because he finds himself there quite a bit.
And Towns drops them both. Kevin, it's been said that some guys hated to play against you. Is there someone you hated to play against for whatever reason?
No.
You enjoyed every jump?
I enjoyed every competitor because on the offensive side of the ball, I was always challenged when to use counters or what type of moves I was using. I took a lot of pride in having a variety of moves for different types of defenses, and each guy is going to bring out a different side of the offense in you. And then turning around and then being that defender and being able to guard the post player or the post or whatever the post player was or whatever. Rasheed Wallace was always a tough guard. Tim Duncan was always a tough guard. Zach Randolph was always a tough guard. Chris Webber, Dice, Karl Malone.
Great names. Here's Teague. And the rebound by Nurkic. Nurkic has got 4 rebounds now tonight. And Kevin, your last couple years, you got to mentor some young players. Kari-Anthony Towns comes to mind. How good do you think he can be?
Man, Cat is the next. He is what I call the next of the next. Yes, he has the pedigree. He has the work ethic. He has the IQ. Most importantly, the desire. You know, when you talk about players being better, I always like to think about if players know history. He understands history. He's been here before. If you follow him through his high school years, he's always wanted to be an anchor. He's always wanted to be a very informative person. He looks for knowledge. He seeks a lot of knowledge. He wants to know what he's up against as far as history. Who am I chasing? What's his number? How many rebounds did he get? What did he do his rookie year? That's what's driving him.
That one falls. And KG, talk about how the greats can just impose their will.
It's almost like another level.
Yeah.
When you see LeBron, what he did to Detroit in that fourth quarter, that's a blackout. You don't know what you're doing. When you see Kobe go for 81, when you see Chauncey come down on a one, these players are blacking out. These are elite players in elite moments, taking the moment. Paul Pierce is one of the best that I've ever seen grab a moment and savor it and just put it in slow-mo. And nothing speeding them up. Special players, bro. I get a front row seat of seeing that. Ray Allen, the same thing. He had a great composure about himself to slow himself down and hit pressure shots. Tim Duncan, same thing.
Well executed, great rhythm. You've got to finish that one.
Yeah, coming off of a good pick, you want to get that when he gets the separation he needs. I know he would love to have that one back.
And great effort on the boards, and what a mean talk that was, Kevin. I mean, you just will not see him ever quit on a play.
That guy is a handful. You've got to have a body on him, Clark, at all times.
And how relentless is this guy? If you're the defense, he's the first one you're looking to block out there.
Shot clock at 5. Here's Turner. Turner can't get that one to fall.
The defense is doing just enough to bother him on the jump.
Kevin, especially back in Minnesota, you have some Hall of Fame battles with a guy named Tim Duncan. Talk about what those games, what those matchups were like.
Timmy, man. Timmy's very crafty, man. Our battles used to just, especially as young guys, man. Young guys trying to establish themselves in a gritty league at the time, full of some older, dominant names at the time. Michael Jordan, Elijah Malone. You know, the time where the forward position was a very, very tough position. But Timmy was one of them ones, man. Used angles very well, was very long, had a lot of counters, very strong, and had an inner beast that people really didn't really talk about because you didn't really necessarily hear or see it. But man, Timmy's one of the best, man. It's not by coincidence. He's one of the ones.
Some changes for Minnesota. Zhang comes in for Towns, and Bielitsa in for Taj Gibson. And then for the Trailblazers, Noah Vonleh, he's checked in for Aminu. Pat Connaughton comes in for Evan Turner. And it's Napier in for Lillard.
Now that was a sensational feed. He hit him right on the move.
Kevin, when you entered the draft, no player had made the jump from high school to the NBA in 20 years. And what were your emotions when your name was called number 5 overall?
Oh, man, I remember that. It was
17 years old?
17, just turning 18 at the time. I was in like a whirlwind, to be honest. A lot of people don't know it's a lot of stuff that goes up into the draft, things that I wasn't aware of. You're training twice a day. You're trying to get ready for the combine. You're trying to get ready for pre-draft. You got to do workouts. This is all new to me, on top of still going to high school, trying to, graduate and stuff. So I figured it out. I hustled and I bustled and I juggled a bunch of different things. But once your name is called, it's almost like the culmination. It all comes together. It's a special moment for just you and your family and your loved ones and ones around you. And when my name was called, it felt like the world had stopped and everything was going very slow.
Kevin, coming out of high school, you were relatively mature for your age, as 17 turning 18, but do you ever regret not trying college and just seeing what that experience would have been like? I mean, it's such a long time ago, but you've had some chance probably to get some perspective on both sides of that story.
You know what, Kev? I look at it like the unknown is the unknown. Obviously, I've had friends that went to college. Some of my best friends went to college, and I think I've kind of lived it through them a little bit. Listen, when you have responsibility early in life,
which you did,
which I did,
yes,
and so from a mature level, things that interest me are not that interesting as you get older, especially when you have to deal with a vigorous schedule of an NBA schedule. I wasn't able to, be the 17, 18-year-old to chill, have, lean on the parents a little bit, be able to be at home, coming home through the weekends. I had a real life that I was responsible for, and I was growing something. I was building something. I was trying to not just be a young player in our league, but a young businessman wanting to establish something for myself, my friends, my family. You can't do those things thinking like a normal 17, 18-year-old. You're taking pieces from grown men around you all the time. You're around people who need something all the time. At some point, you have to put all this together, and you have to make it work for you, and you have to put your spin on it for how it works for you and your brand, and you have to be innovative with that. You have to be creative with that. You have to have a vision.
Wow, yeah, there's a lot to consider. And it's McCollum in the corner. Here's the three. A three-pointer is right on target. McCollum's got the game tied up here for the Trailblazers.
And he is really in a zone right now, playing and scoring with confidence.
And Kevin, you've recently gotten a chance to do more TV. Your show Area 21 has been tremendous, and the critics love it. Talk about this chapter of your career.
Well, it was something that I wasn't planning on, but, Turner brought me a great concept, and it fit the mold of what any man cave is, and that's really what it is. But the fact that we can go in, watch games on multiple channels, see multiple games, articulate it, give it from a perspective of a player, coming fresh out of this generation of players, giving understanding to this generation of players is very important, because these players now are very different. Teaching these young players, still being mentors of these players, very important. And still loving this game. It's still a beautiful game. Man, the game is growing. I'm watching these kids do all types of different stuff, man. The creativity in our game now is so heightened. So, yeah, I'm having a bunch of fun, which is one thing I never forgot, the piece of advice you've always told me, man. So you continue to enjoy what you do, and it'll show. And I'm hoping that I'm making you proud of that, Kay. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, man.
You're an incredible ambassador to all of those things. The game, the fun of life. Right. You capture a lot of the fun of life.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I'm enjoying it. So, hopefully it shows.
The dish to Napier. Now the pass to Connaughton. And a wide open look for McCollum. A three-pointer, no good.
And I thought that was going to drop. It looked good from here.
That one misses. Portland trailing here. In the corner, Napier with it. Leonard with a screen on Muhammad. Here's Connaughton. No good from outside. They can trade 2 for 1 here.
Would be the right move, I believe, right now.
Wide open look. The Trailblazers rebound. Good, nice play there from Vonleh.
And he's caught fire this quarter, yet to miss a shot.
And finished off by Jang.
And they are going toe-to-toe here tonight, guys. This thing's like a heavyweight fight.
Punch, counter punch. Neither club's been able to sustain an advantage.
Portland shooting their initial free throws of the game right here.
And typically a strength of theirs, 79% on the season.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
First free throw is good. And both free throws good for Napier. Here's Jones. Quiet so far offensively, searching for his first points of the game. Count it. He talked about a back-and-forth game. This is the definition.
You have to love these kinds of games, scoring-wise, keeping everybody on their toes.
Ball's knocked loose, and that one goes out of bounds. Last touch by Muhammad. It's been all about Kari-Anthony Towns for the Minnesota Timberwolves. What an amazing quarter. There was absolutely no stopping him. Right back after this break. And a guy who seems to improve every season, Jimmy Butler. He spoke with us about one of his biggest surprises.
It's crazy because I never thought that anybody would be preparing to guard me night in and night out. But they do. I have to learn to cope with that and still find a way to be successful on both ends of the floor. And it's a learning curve for me also, but I'm figuring it out.
And hard to doubt the dedication of Jimmy Butler. He's found a way to overcome obstacles at each important point along the way.
You know, he's a self-made player, and if Butler can stay healthy, boy, the sky's the limit.
And the second quarter getting underway. No team gaining an edge so far. And what do you guys think about Minnesota here in this one?
Getting high percentage looks, wearing down that defense on the inside.
Right, and as the defense collapses, that opens up inside-out opportunities. Productive first quarter.
Here are the 5 Portland has to start the second quarter. They've got Napier. Vonleh's out there with Myers-Leonard. Then there's McCollum. And it's Connaughton in at the 3. And the foul called on Tyus Jones. That's his first foul. Here's Napier, defended by Jones. Leonard with a screen on Jones. It's stolen by Jones. Kevin, you were always known as wanting to play and always wanting to practice. You're a gym rat. What did you do when a coach would ask you maybe to take a breather? Let's sit out this game. Let's rest up. Would you welcome that? Would you just say, I'll let you know when I can't go? Or how would you handle that situation?
You know what? I've always asked the coach to respect the way I get ready for games. I've always asked him to respect the way I approach the game. I've always asked the coach to respect me and my expertise of knowing my body. I'm very, very vocal. Listen, if one person needs rest, and it's me, I know how to raise my hand. I know how to say I need some rest. But, you know, I'm a person who likes to push through a lot of things. I'm a person who understands rest, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I'm a person who understands that practice makes perfect. And if I can work on something for as long as I can to make something better, because I know at the end when I need it, especially when I used to call it dial up. When I call, I need the answer.
And Jones over to help. Muhammad with the steal and out of bounds as the Trailblazers gain possession. And where have the shots been coming from tonight? Here's a look broken down by paint, mid-range, and three-point shot attempts so far for the Timberwolves.
And the three-point shot above the break has become a popular shot in the league, but not for them tonight. They're passing that one up and just trying to get their offense from closer to the hoop.
Trailblazers trail by 7. And Kevin, you played for some great coaches, but is there any coach you would have been interested to work with that just didn't get a chance to? Say, Greg Popovich or Phil Jackson.
Those are great coaches. I've had very, very little time with those guys.
Maybe in all-star games and things like that.
I have. But, when you do all-star games, you let yourself go. You open up yourself to try to, be there and be present with the guys. Yes. Open up, hey, what's up? What's been up with you? How's the year for y'all? Y'all playing well. We're going to beat y'all when we see y'all, blah, blah, blah. But, you're very cordial. And, you're not talking too much about X's and O's. But you do share perspectives. You do share, philosophies. Pop is a great mind. I had a chance to sit with him a couple times. Phil's a great mind. Phil's super deep and loves the philosophy of. I haven't had a lot of time with those guys.
And a good example there of why it's important to change ends quickly.
Yeah, talent in this league has it so that now pretty much every team can push the pace. You have to get back on defense.
Time called here. The Blazers decide to talk it over. As the teams head into this timeout, a chance for the coaches now to map out some plays for the next few minutes and a chance for the players to rehydrate with some Gatorade. That's important if they want to make sure they don't wear down later in the game.
Absolutely. Over the course of a game, you have to stay hydrated.
And on our sideline, our reporter, David Aldridge.
Well, guys, analytics has taken over the NBA, but Minnesota coach and president of basketball operations, Tom Thibodeau, says it doesn't tell you everything. He said analytics can measure a lot of things, but it's very difficult to measure drive. The magic is in the work. Kevin?
And Tom Thibodeau makes a good point, D.A. Analytics is certainly helpful, but it doesn't capture everything. And Kev, you think of the great ones. You, Kobe, Jordan.
Timmy,
yeah, how about him? They worked harder than anybody else, Kevin.
And what you learn is that the similarity or the parallel that you all have is an inner animal that you never speak about. We're all a little off. We're all a little dark, but that's what pushes you through pain. That's what pushes you through tough moments. When someone says you can't, when someone says this is not possible, this is unreal, no one's ever done it, that's the moment you're looking for. The moment someone told Kobe that he couldn't get over 50, 60, something Jordan couldn't do, he was driven in that. If Phil wouldn't have stopped him, he probably would have reached 100 points.
He probably would have, yeah.
He did Will Chamberlain a favor. And that's just real. He was in that type of mode. We all share that passion. We all share that drive. And the ones that have that inner darkness, we all understand.
It's like a split personality, huh?
It's almost like another level.
Yeah.
Clearly a foul.
The Timberwolves shooting their third and fourth free throw shots of the night.
At the line for two.
Two shots.
And the first one drops. And people may not know, KG, that you're not just a broadcaster for 2K, but you're a member of the 2K community.
Have you been keeping up with the community, man?
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Man, listen, shout out to all the 2K players out there. I'm Jizzle Lord. Y'all know what it is. I'm Jizzle Lord 5. Shout out to my OBF team. Y'all know what it is. Shout out to Dex. Shout out to Bug. Shout out to everybody out there playing.
Wow.
Right. We definitely.
Wow.
It's all good. I'm OBF. I'm about the team. I'm gang. You know what it is. Jizzle Lord. Y'all holler at me. Y'all know what it is, 2K. Right.
Kevin, growing up watching the game of basketball, who were some of your earliest influences?
My early influences in the game of basketball was Magic Johnson, obviously Michael Jordan, and then Chris Webber. Malik Sealy was kind of like the younger generation of my inspiration. Yeah. St. John's was one of the destinations. Michigan was one of my college destinations. So those guys were my natural inspirations early on when I was young.
Yeah. Pulls it from 20. That one wide left.
Yeah, that's just poor decision-making. He's got to be better in those situations.
Well, I'd love to hear his explanation to Coach right there. I mean, that should be an interesting conversation.
The offensive rebound, Leonard. That's in, and he found his range with that one. Now 1 for 2.
Defensive rebounding, just such a crucial part of the game.
I tell you what, it's like football. having a 3rd and 13 and them running up the gut. It just frustrates the defense. You have to hate giving up second chance points. It's demoralizing. After basically, you had to stop.
Kevin, we know how hard the players work. The elite players work the hardest. We know the coaches work so hard. Everyone in that coaching staff, everyone wants the game called right. Is an added referee something that would help the game in any way, do you think?
More eyes on it.
We got 3 right now.
Listen, that's a lot,
that
man.
Is a lot.
And we're yelling at those 3. Listen, more eyes on the prize, if you will, so be it. It's just about how the game is. You want referees to be consistent. You want referees to also let the guys play a little bit. That's just my preference. I'm not a league official, nor do I know flow and momentum. I'm just talking from a fan perspective and watching it.
Yes.
But, as a player, I find things to complain about because that's what a player does when it comes to advantage versus disadvantage. But 4th ref, I don't think it would hurt. To me, it would be about how they were calling it.
And here we have an opportunity to check out Kari-Anthony Towns.
The last 10 games, he has been on a heck of a run. 4th in rebounding, 8th in blocks, and his sweet shooting stroke places him in the top 15 league-wide in three-point percentage. You've got to play him tight.
And he's so explosive, so hungry. You really can't keep him off the glass when he wants to get there. That's why he's top 5 in rebounding. And he knocks down the first one. He's perfect from the line this time.
His free throw ability makes him tough to defend in the post. Teams can't get too physical with him.
Well, the fans out there watching this, Kev, can you talk about why it's so incredibly difficult to win an NBA title, to become a champion? Why is it such a tough process?
Well, just imagine having a goal and you're not pursuing the goal by yourself. Say you and somebody else.
Relying on somebody else.
Relying on somebody else,
yes.
Okay? So let's just say you and someone are doing something, walking up a hill. Y'all getting ready to go walk up a hill. Well, the speed at which you want to walk at might be different from the other person. And what you realize about when you're trying to reach any goal is that you have to be connected. You have to be understanding of, we're going to walk up here together like at this speed, like this, or we're going fast, we're going slow. It has to be a great level of communication and understanding. At the same time, you have to have the same work ethic because you have to understand you're together. And you don't get to go at this level and leave someone behind. You have to actually, you got to pull them, you got to keep up, whatever it is. All this goes into trying to win.
It sure does. That's right. Now a timeout called by Portland. Kevin, with intentional fouling, with poor free throw shooters being sent to the line currently, the Hack-a-Drummond, Hack-a-Shaq, all this stuff, DeAndre Jordan. Yeah. What are your thoughts on all that?
You know what? I like it. You know what it's going to do? It's
part of the strategy?
It's going to put the strategy, and this is part of it. And you know what you got to do? It's going to make all those guys you just named work on their free throw.
Mm-hmm.
Because if any advantage that you have in the game, coaches are going to expose it. Coaches are going to expose all weak points, as they should, as any sport, and as any great is going to expose any weaknesses in defenses. He's going to look to expose those things. So this is one of the things that dictates the game, and these guys are going to have to be better. It's going to push them. It's going to make them better players.
Some changes for Minnesota. Wiggins is checked in for Muhammad. Jimmy Butler comes in for Jamal Crawford. And it's Teague in for Jones. Trailblazers trail by 16. And Turner kicks to Davis. Passes it to Connaughton. And there's the call on Kari-Anthony Towns. That'll be his second foul of the game.
And now only one away from being in the penalty.
Connaughton passes to Turner. Poked away. Towns with the steal.
and you've got to do a better job of making sure the defender isn't in your space. I mean, if you're going to pump fake, you've got to make sure he doesn't have a chance for the steal.
Here's Lillard. 23 points for him the last game against the Pelicans in New Orleans.
And it was not a one-man show. That was the best part. He had just as good a game with his passing as he did with his scoring.
And Gibson over to help. And Aminu kicks to Connaughton. 5 on the clock. Here's Davis. No good, unable to end this run.
And they've just tried everything to stem the tide here, but nothing seems to work.
Yeah, trying to recapture momentum. When the tide's running against you, very difficult to do. What do the young kids say today? Ride that wave.
The Timberwolves have made all of their free throws so far tonight, going 6 for 6.
At the line for 2.
The first one falls. Kevin, of all the people you've faced, who is the toughest guy for you to score against down low? Let's pick that geography. Who is the toughest to score against down there?
Listen, I know a lot of people. I've always said Rasheed Wallace. I've always said Tim Duncan. They're probably the two that brought a different level of play out of me, but shout out to Cliff Robinson, man. Cliff Robinson, I don't know if people know this, but Cliff Robinson, man. Cliff Robinson was one of the better defenders in the post. He was very strong. He was very long. He didn't go for any counters. He was very disciplined. He was well prepared because he was a veteran. The refs let him get away with a lot, touching and grabbing. He knew when to be physical in some positions. He knew to do what we call work early. He would meet you at the three-point line, and he would be fighting you, and you would post up probably like a step outside the three-point line. Like, he was really good at some of his techniques and how he was able to control the post. After Cliff left the game, I watched a lot of his tape, and I took a lot of his
no kidding.
I had to, because it was so effective against me that I was able to use it against other post players on the defensive end.
I never knew that story.
Dennis Rodman was another guy I watched a lot. Akeem Olajuwon I watched a lot, because these guys were laterally very similar to my makeup. Akeem Olajuwon was long. He was able to laterally move with you. I was laterally able to move with guards and able to laterally to slide with some of the forwards and some of the more laterally gifted power forwards. And with that, able to get my feet together, being able to block shots, challenge the rim, stuff like that. Things that, if you're going to get better at something, you got to go and reach and find the great ones that did it before you and take it, and then I was able to apply it, and I did those things.
Yeah, the amount of points they've given up here in the paint, that's what they got to talk about.
Ooh, this is ugly. No question about it. And you wonder if these matchups aren't favoring them right now.
These players have been dominant on the glass in the last 10 games, leading the NBA in rebounding. The real stats, the real scores from the real NBA. Kari-Anthony Towns, 4th.
When it comes to rebounding, it's been a stupendous stretch for him. He's been using his body and strength so effectively.
And Lillard kicks to Turner. Back to Lillard. Shot to stop the drought. Again, the miss by Lillard.
A good board there, Kevin, but overall they're getting
Oh, wow.
I tell you what, Butler is a physical dunker. I mean, he takes his craft seriously. I just love watching this guy take off.
And Turner kicks to Lillard. Outside, Davis. Back to Lillard. Here's the three. It's rebounded by Towns. Towns has got 6 rebounds in the game.
He's still looking to get into a groove this quarter.
And he gets it to go. And it's 8 points for Taj Gibson. Kevin, when you played, we all know how intense you were, how much you cared. That, to me, was the thing that you cared so much about the product, about your team, about the game. But some people have said that maybe there was a streak of you that was mean is maybe not the right word, but you were overly aggressive. But I don't know how you could have played any differently than that.
I call it dialed in.
What?
You know, I like to think that if you're trying to accomplish something, then I only know one way to
go
accomplish
at it with gusto, right?
You go at it with everything you have.
Yes.
You go to dominate it and take it over. You don't go at something lightly.
Can't walk through the park with this game,
not at all. Not at all. And this game is full of talented elites. Night in, night out, you're playing someone that can typically go for 50 easy.
So true. And KG, so great to see you. It takes me back. It really does.
A lot of people don't know, man. We got real original ties, man.
Back to the beginning.
95, man. My original man right here.
Here he was, man. You were a thrill a minute. I'll tell you that.
Man,
a thrill a minute.
Now look at us. 21 years later, dog. Man, can you believe
We're still
this?
standing.
We are. They haven't caught on yet. Don't say anything.
Okay.
Keep it between us.
Okay. Kevin, you were a mainstay All-Star Week. You've seen everything there. If it were up to you, would you make any changes in All-Star Week in the events and the way everything is kind of carried out? You've went to so many.
I have. And you know what? Each city gives you a true essence of its own identity. I would like to see each city get a chance to host, regardless of if it's big enough or not. I think that each city has the ability to host. I think each city...
if you're with the family, then you should be able to host in the family, right?
Well, not only that, but just think about what All-Star is, man. It's an event. It's a family event. And each city wants to be able to show you their best thing about their city.
And the refs are going to rule that unnecessary contact. It's a flagrant one foul.
Boy, a very hard foul that time, and the officials had to slap him with the flagrant. I mean, you can't let him get away with that kind of contact.
Yeah, G, that's an easy call for the officials to make when there's that much contact. The league is really cracking down on those sort of plays. The free throw drops for Towns.
As we've gotten closer to halftime, their style has become more and more physical.
And Towns drops them both. Kevin, one of the biggest moments of your career, the 2008 championship with the Boston Celtics. Talk about the camaraderie among that group of players.
You know, Kev, I can tell right away that we had something special getting together right in September, right before the year started. We started working out together. We started sharing concepts and how we saw the game. Right away, I can tell that the appetite was there. 1 through 15 guys. It's very rare that you're able to get that many guys in that early. As soon as Danny, signed guys, we were in, we were lifting, we was just, around each other, understanding each other, playing a lot. We was playing a lot. Then, fortunately, we was able to go off to Rome that year. Rome was a good distraction for us because we had to lean on one another.
To bond a little bit.
Seriously, because, none of us spoke Italian. If we wanted to go somewhere, we was always 3-4 deep, and no one was asking and no one was telling us to be with each other. We were just naturally being with each other so much that whenever you saw us to the restaurants, 9, 10 of us, that carried over to practice. Then we got 2 teams that are very competitive. Doc's letting us be who we want to be, and he's letting us play with passion, and our practices are over the top aggressive and to the point where it's too competitive to where he has to come in and separates us and, take the balls and cut the lights out and get us out of here. Yeah. To the point where he just lets us go. Now we start bringing concepts to him. He started trusting our IQs. Now we start putting a couple of things on defense. Thibodeau's in there. He's implementing stuff. When this flow is going like this, you don't know that you're going to win it all, but you know you're on the waves of something special. Right. And that's how that felt.
They double him with Wiggins, Lillard from outside, and the Trailblazers another 3.
No, this guy, his motor is always the same. No matter what the score of the game is, he always remains aggressive.
And KG, I have to say, a pleasure to have you with us here tonight, providing your great insight and intellect into these broadcasts. Thanks so much for being with us on the show, and I hope you come by again.
Man, K-Hall, anytime you need me, man, you let me know, man. I'm yours, man. You know what it is.
The great, the champion, Kevin Garnett. What a treat it is, Greg, to have KG with us. Always offers so much insight. Played the game for an amazing 21 seasons.
Yeah, when he first entered the league, everybody was wowed by the athleticism. But what became more apparent really early on were the instincts for which he had for the game. And that's what he brings, I feel like, to the broadcast.
Aminu, no one around him. And another 3 for Portland.
And really, as the three-pointers keep dropping, you get the sense that the frustration is mounting for the defense. And Teague knew that he would be open there. Great patience and vision from the point man.
7-second difference, shot and game clock. To the wing right side. Here's Aminu. The rebound by Gibson.
And with the success they've had rebounding the basketball, they're right where you'd expect them to be, firmly in the driver's seat. And we're seeing some great ball movement out of this group, guys.
The Timberwolves haven't made a mistake at the line yet. 10 of 10.
Shooting one.
That free throw good from Butler.
Well, after getting to the stripe in the first quarter, he's definitely been more assertive driving inside.
Here's Napier. 17 points for him last game against New Orleans. This is his second trip to the free throw line.
Shooting two.
He misses the free throw. And he can't get the second one to drop either. Coming up empty that time. And so it's Minnesota with a 34-point advantage heading into the break. They've had active hands and have forced a lot of turnovers in this one. And now let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's standing by from the sideline. All right, Dave.
Kevin, thank you. Jeff, you guys had a great first half. Is the key to the second half to continue to be that aggressive?
Yeah, we got to play defense. They're a really good team. They're going to play hard. They're real physical. We just got to come out and keep guarding.
Jeff, thanks for your time. Back to you, Kevin.
Okay, David, much appreciated. And now time for halftime. So we'll be back in just a bit to get the third quarter underway.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back. Ernie Johnson here with Kenny the Jet Smith. That's Shaquille O'Neal. Thanks for joining us. And boy, a pumped-up home crowd is behind us right now. The first half was all about Kari-Anthony Towns. He had 34 points, 6 steals, and 8 rebounds. Some great work from him in the first 2 quarters. And Kenny, what did you see out there from the Timberwolves?
There's so many things you could say about the development of Kari-Anthony Towns. Just as accurate from the outside as he is in the post. Defends on the perimeter and the rim.
Shaq, how do you think Portland played?
Well, one reason they're getting roasted, a.k.a. blown out, poor rebounding. Way too many one-and-done possessions. I don't want to see guys dribble between their legs and shoot. Not enough fundamentals. Hey, box out 101. Maintain position 101. Learn how to play basketball 101. Things like that, Ernie.
That's it for halftime. Glad you could join us, as now we send you back to the action for the start of the third quarter.
The buildings of downtown Minneapolis all lit up on this lovely evening. Welcome back, everyone, to the Twin Cities. Now, it's been a one-sided affair so far through the first 2 quarters, but there's plenty of time to mount a comeback. Kari-Anthony Towns has been sensational.
Yeah, he's really been catching the defense off guard so far here in this game, racking up a bunch of trips to the line.
Well, and a few times he's done a good job of initiating contact, yet getting the foul call on the defender.
Now, it's been a one-sided affair so far through the first 2 quarters, but there's plenty of time to mount a comeback. Minnesota shooting so well, the offensive execution has been brilliant, 66% from the field. Chris, during your playing days, you had a number of point guards that you developed an excellent rapport with. What do you feel is the most important part of being a successful point guard in the league?
You have to be a great leader to be a successful point guard in the league. You have to be open. You have to be tough on guys. You have to know guys' personality, and you have to be giving. You have to trust your guys. And I was blessed. I played with some really good point guards that had all of those qualities.
Butler teamed with Wiggins as the deadly wing duo. Gibson is the 4 with Towns in the middle, and it's Teague in at the point. So that's who Tom Thibodeau starts the second half with.
Yeah, and they've shown effort and aggression in the paint, really right from the tip. Their rebounding edge right now, massive.
And we've got an update here, so let's catch up with David Aldridge.
Fellas, Al-Farouq Aminu has established himself as a great defensive player, and he wants that recognition. He said, "My goal every year is to be Defensive Player of the Year. I want to guard 1 through 4 and even 5 sometimes. I want it to be known that I'm a great defender, and I want the league to recognize that." Kevin?
Thanks, David. Aminu continues to prove his worth on the defensive end. His length and quickness certainly hard to deal with. And for those of you turning in, we're about a minute into the second half. Now Turner, and so the Timberwolves with another turnover. Here's Towns, and the dunk by Towns.
Well, there you go. One team operating on all cylinders at both ends. Steals, fast break buckets, and the other team in scramble mode.
And that replay brought to us by Under Armour. Another Unleash Chaos moment. One of the more exciting plays in basketball. And the dunk by Towns.
And that's how you make a steal count. Turn it into a quick slam at the other end.
It was really a case, it looked like Kari-Anthony right there, if I can say so. It was really a case of a great defensive play triggering some instant offense.
Oh, well, that's because it was terrific anticipation. Also, the quick hands, a lethal combination.
Third quarter of play with just over a minute and a half gone by. Towns comes with a double team, and the officials signal the backcourt violation. Not very careful there.
And we've just seen them make mistakes on back-to-back trips. Both those turnovers could have been avoided.
Nice ball movement by Minnesota. And Wiggins throws it down hard.
And you can see that Butler is the total package. Solid at recognizing when one of his guys is open.
Trailblazers shooting well. They're at 45%. Lillard with it. Picked up by Teague. And Lillard gets double teamed. Knocks it loose. Not watching the line there. That'll be a backcourt violation. And a chance now to review the shot chart for Minnesota.
And every time he's pulled up from deep and let it fly, it's found a way to catch iron. Not sure if it is something with his release or the defense is bothering him on his threes, but I would expect him to attack the rim a bit just to kind of mix things up.
And the Timberwolves with possession here. They've only allowed 2 points so far here in the second half, and Towns gets it to go.
Every time they get scored on during this run, it's come from inside the paint.
Lillard dishes to Aminu. And there's the call on Kari-Anthony Towns. That's his 4th foul of the contest. Not quite 2.5 minutes played here in the second half. Here's the screen. Towns comes with a double team. Aminu the pass to Lillard. And just miss after miss right now.
You can't fault him for taking the three when he's that wide open. You can't pass that shot up.
Well, Towns does so many things on the floor, already an elite post scorer. But, Greg, one area that he has struggled with at times is his defense against other bigs.
And I think he'll continue to improve in that area. What happens with young guys, though, is oftentimes your improved how good I am mode when you're young, and you lose sight of some of the things that help you win games. And I think that's one reason why he had one of the worst defensive RPMs in the entire league. But young bigs tend to take a bit longer to develop into great defenders, and I expect he will follow in that line.
The free throw drops for Towns. And Towns drops them both.
I love the complementary aspect of this group now. You know, you've got the young talent, but you've brought in some veteran leadership here for the Timberwolves. The duo of Wiggins and Kari-Anthony Towns kind of gave the confidence to them to go out and acquire a superstar in his prime like Jimmy Butler.
And he's fouled pretty hard on that shot, but he's got the chance to pick up the points at the line. It goes on C.J. McCollum. And Greg, the core of this Timberwolves team is Wiggins and Towns. And, you know, rarely do you get to see two #1 overall picks team up early in their careers.
And how about back-to-back years, no less. But I consider Jimmy Butler kind of a foundational piece as well. He's in the conversation for the best shooting guard in our league.
The free throw drops for Towns. Jamal Crawford, he's checked in for Jimmy Butler. That one falls, so he hits both of them. And Chris, as your career progressed, your free throw shooting percentage jumped up about 20 points higher than when you started. That's not the case for a lot of players. Just how hard is it for a big man to improve their free throw shooting throughout their career?
Okay, that's probably one of the things I'm proudest of, is that I have the record from going from worst to that best improvement, and I worked out hard. I had a shooting coach, Buzz. We worked out every summer. I would take him everywhere with me, Kev. I mean,
really?
I would take this guy to the club, to church, to a restaurant, he'd have to wait outside the bathroom. Everywhere I went that summer, I wanted him, with me, because you have to focus and concentrate on it. You think about it, you have to change not only your mental habits, your repetition, but your thought process. So step one is the figuring out that shot. Step two is how many repetitions. Step three is, can you get that in game time atmosphere? You really can't unless you punish yourself in the summer with running. So if you have to do a suicide every one you miss, or, it just was just so much work and intensity on it, because you have to build up so much trust. Because the reason why guys shoot bad free throws, they don't trust it. They shoot a different way every time. And it was fun becoming better at that, but, that's probably one of the toughest things I've ever done, was get better at shooting free throws, because the concentration and the time allowed it to try to improve.
A nice shot by Teague.
Another bucket down low. They've been the aggressors, taking the ball inside and attacking at the rim.
And Lillard kicks to Turner. He dishes it to Nurkic. Here's Aminu. From outside, off the mark.
And close to making the defense pay for the lax coverage that time.
And count it, the shot is good. He'll go to the free throw line.
This is an amazing run he's on. It's like he's been the only guy on the floor this quarter.
And talk about the Blazers players. They talk a lot about the work ethic of this team.
Well, the work ethic of this team starts with number 0, Damian Lillard. He makes sure that it's a competitive environment. A lot of these young players, though, are looking to prove themselves in the gym, before and after practice. They're challenging one another.
Shabazz Muhammad's checked in for Minnesota.
Mind the lanes.
Jones comes in for Teague.
One shot.
And Greg, you wouldn't expect it from a Coach Thibodeau team, but defense was an issue for the Timberwolves last year.
And the Wolves brought in Butler to help with offense, but more importantly, his defense. And Butler, familiar with what Thibs likes to do on both ends of the floor, has the leadership the team needs, particularly on the defensive end.
Oh, he's putting on a show for these fans.
I can't believe he pulled that one out in the course of an actual game. Outside Turner, back to Nurkic. And off the front iron, and in it goes. Nurkic has got 14 points for the game. Here's Muhammad, and the dunk by Muhammad.
And since they've come out of halftime, they've been extremely poised and very efficient.
And don't forget, very accurate. Taking shots within the flow of the offense. Not something that can be said for their opponent.
Lillard, the pass to Connaughton. The feed to Davis. Turner with the screen. Here's Connaughton. That's in there. Davis with the assist. 7 points in the game.
I mean, he hit that shot from the next town over, Kev. What a shot.
Drills the three-pointer.
And that's how you answer back.
Trading bombs the last two possessions. They're going that one now.
And here we go. Towns heading to the...
Ooh! That's how you attack. Wow.
Attack the rim, baby. Move out the way.
Portland's gone 2 of 5 with the three-point shot since coming out of the break. And Lillard gets double-teamed. And out of bounds as the Timberwolves gain possession.
And this has been a comedy of errors. I mean, you can just add another one to the list.
Some changes for Minnesota. Gorky Dangs checked in for Towns. And Bielitsa in for Taj Gibson. Vonleh's checked in for Portland. Napier comes in for Damian Lillard. Here's Crawford. And he banks in the layup.
And good passing, setting up a lot of these buckets right now, Kevin. That's been the key.
And Turner kicks to Connaughton. They can't stop the run with that one.
And the shots just continue to say no in terms of falling. And a good example there of why it's important to change ends quickly.
Yeah, talent in this league has it so that now pretty much every team can push the pace. You have to get back on defense.
And Jones over to help. Out of bounds, Minnesota takes possession.
And a moment to see numbers for Napier. He's averaging 10 points a game, 2 assists, and 2 rebounds. And the numbers won't wow you, but I like the effort he brings to the table each and every night.
He hustles, does the little things, just a good complimentary guy who you need on your team.
Jones kicks to Bielitsa. Over Vonleh. Bielitsa misses. For Portland, they've gotten 6 of their 12 shots to drop for him here in the second half so far. Napier dishes to Turner. Shoots over Muhammad. And all around the rim that time before dropping in. 7 points for Evan Turner.
Well, Turner has a reliable mid-range shot. This is where he likes to operate. He looks comfortable shooting from here. Hits the moving target with the lead pass. He made it look so easy.
Here's Napier. He has 5. And Jones over to help. Davis, the pass to Turner. Shoots over Muhammad. The shot by Turner, no good. Minnesota shooting nearly 70% from the floor. They are putting on a clinic offensively.
And the crisp passing has opened things up for them offensively.
And Chris, you were the #1 overall draft pick back in 1993. We've seen a lot of greats taken with that pick, but it also seems that those #1 picks who aren't as successful face a lot of pressure, a lot of criticism. There's a lot on your plate to handle. Can you talk about that for us?
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure for some players being the #1 pick. But I've always laughed and I've thought about, players that maybe people say maybe they were a bust, maybe this player wasn't good. Well, I think you should go back and look at the GM that picked them. I mean, the GM is the guy that assesses talent, So when there were a few players that were picked #1, and many players said, "What are you doing? We've played against him. We would never pick him #1." So before more that I think the NBA is about opportunity and situation. Look at a guy like Chauncey Billups. He went to Boston. He didn't do well at Boston. They called him a malcontent, said he couldn't play, and then he ended up being one of the best leaders that the game had. And so this game is all about situation and opportunity. Can you find the right fit? That's why if you're a player, you can't let frustration get to you. You have to continue to work hard, continue to prove your game, because when you play, you're auditioning for the other teams in the league as well. They're saying, wait a minute, we see his unique talent, skills, and we see his unique skill set, and we could use him. And so many times you just have to wait for the right position, the right situation.
Yeah, it's been about the fast break. Been real kind to him here early, and they are clicking in transition.
Dishes to Vonleh. Pass to Connaughton to halt the run, and they call over the back here. Too much contact.
And you can live with those over-the-back calls sometimes because at least it's an effort play.
I can't say he wasn't going all out, but he's clearly out of position.
Shooting two.
And that one falls for Muhammad. And Damian Lillard said he's committed to finishing his career in Portland, title or not. He's invested in this franchise.
Team first, that helps all the players buy in. And new additions have to fall in line with the example he set. He said the culture won't change because he won't allow it to happen.
And Turner kicks to Connaughton. Leonard the pass to Connaughton. They set the pick. Turner with the screen. Jumper off the screen. And a big bounce off the rim, but it sinks right in. 10 points for Noah Vonleh.
Oh, just a brick wall of a screen. Knocks the defender out of the play.
And Muhammad gets it to go.
Well, it's nice to have an option like him every time down the court.
They could use a big shot here to get this offense going.
Too many empty possessions. Right now, they need a basket.
Leonard kicks to Vonleh. Out to Turner. Clock at 6. Teardrop shot. A rebound by the Timberwolves. Jang's got 3 rebounds now in this one.
A frustrating start to this quarter for him.
Oh, big finish. Emphatic.
He hangs on the rim just for good measure. Wow. So far, we've seen them be a bit careless with the ball.
Simply put, out of control is how they've played thus far. They're going to have to reel it in and show some more discipline.
Napier, that shot off. The Timberwolves go the other way with it. When this game is done, they'll be off to Orlando, and they'll take on the Magic. That'll be the first half of a 2-game trip.
And typically, he has the touch to finish when he's in tight, but not sure on that possession.
Feeds to Leonard. Lets the 3 fly. Good, and it's Napier with the assist that time. Napier's got his 4th assist with that last one here tonight. Here's Jang. Rebound by Napier. And for Portland, they're shooting in this game 45%. He feeds it to Vonleh. And the dunk by Vonleh.
He gives up a lot of size to most other power forwards, but not too many of them can fly like he can.
Muhammad, the pass to Bjelica. And there it is for him. Bjelica's got 10. 1:09 left to play here in the third. And Turner kicks to Connaughton. Here's Vonleh. And the dunk by Vonleh.
And he wasn't about to do anything that would get him in trouble there.
Nope, up and in with a one-hand finish, the most basic possible.
Nice understanding of where to go with the pass there.
And here are the Trailblazers now, defeated by the Pelicans in their last game. They'll try to put that one behind them.
Yeah, and in a hostile environment, they did not rise to the occasion, especially on the defensive side.
Yeah, they allowed way too many easy buckets. I thought they lacked toughness and energy all night.
That one good for 2.
Indicative of what we've seen tonight. One team being the aggressor, the other failing to react.
You know the saying, numbers don't lie. You can see it up there on the scoreboard.
Here's Turner, and he gets the friendly spin, and that one drops. Turner's got 4 points this quarter.
Turner has good shot selection. He only takes the shots he knows he can make.
And again, it's Minnesota converting.
Well, it looked as if he would never find his game after that awful first half start, but he is really hitting his stride in the second.
2-second difference between shot clock and game clock. "11 seconds left in the third quarter. 6 on the shot clock. No good on the shot. A bit long that time.
I didn't see that miss coming. I mean, he's usually been money from that range.
And so it's the Minnesota Timberwolves with a huge lead at the break. Safe to say there's no catching them today. From the field, they have been outstanding. Amazing shooting. That's what has them headed to a blowout. We'll get right back to the action when we return.
Yeah. T-Raw, what up? Ali, what up? Yeah. Living like Khaled.
Terry Stotts had some advice for his team. Let's hear what he had to say.
We haven't given up any resistance at the other end. They're getting offensive rebounds, they're getting penetrations, they're getting kick-out threes. What have we taken away? Nothing, all right? That's up to us.
Terry Stotts pretty honest with his team there, laying it on the line. Feels his defense has been ineffective across the board.
And a big problem that I'm seeing is the lack of communication. You know, guys aren't talking. There's not enough help for one another, and that's not helping them get stops.
And we welcome you back as we get going here in the fourth quarter. The final quarter of play can change everything. A moment now to reset the lineups, brought to us by Gatorade. All fueled up here for the fourth quarter. On the floor for Portland, Collins is out there with Mo Harkless. Then there's Myers Leonard. And it's Connaughton in at the 2. Here's Napier. Leonard with the bucket.
Yeah, I love the communication and the chemistry between those teammates.
Minnesota shooting a scorching 68% in the game. Here's Jones. Rebound by Napier. And here are the Trailblazers now. Chris, you look at the way the game is played now. We have seen some retired players say it is soft.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is soft when you look through their lens. That's true. But that's the way that the game is today. And so if you're a fan just coming to the game now, or, you know, if this is the game you love, you accept it and you keep moving on. As long as the fans love it, as long as the players are having fun with it. But definitely, compared to the 80s, to the 90s, there's no doubt about it that the game is soft as far as physical play. But at the same time, look what it's produced. It has allowed players to show the beauty of an offensive jump shot, of an offensive move, and also made defenders get that much better because you have to move laterally. You can't use your hands to guard.
2 shots.
First free throw is good.
We're still waiting for that first miss from the line this half.
And the Timberwolves making a change here. Aldridge is checked in. And so he makes both from the line. And for the Blazers, Greg, you could make the case they possess the second-best backcourt in the NBA after the Splash Brothers with Lillard and McCollum.
Yeah, certainly offensively. I mean, they're just about unguardable. The questions begin at the other end. And when you factor in defense, I think you could find some debate there as some other groups tend to do a better job on that side of the ball. Just no resistance on the inside. That's their 5th consecutive make in the paint.
Guys, they're looking for a way to score here.
Yeah, they've had a tough time taking the lid off.
Kicks it to Collins. Pass to Connaughton. Takes a 3. Connects from three-point range.
Now this is more like it. 9 points for him from three-point range this half. That's 9 more than he had in the first. And how about the excellent court vision? Just keeping the defense off balance.
Well, if you're his teammate, you love this right now because all you have to do is focus on finishing.
Portland moving the ball around. Leonard. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
Yeah, and Myers Leonard last season, returning from a left shoulder surgery, his numbers took a dip. When healthy, though, he's 7'1", can spread the floor, a center. Not many of those.
Shooting 2, gentlemen.
The free throw drops for Leonard. And Leonard drafted out of Illinois. People saw a bouncy 7-footer. Interesting, Chris, that his three-pointer has become the best part of his game right now.
Yeah, and even though most of his shots are threes, I still think defensively he's better at the center position. His length is mostly useful around the rim.
Davis is checked in for the Trailblazers. And good on the second, so he makes them both. And Chris, during your playing days, you were on some incredibly talented teams and also some teams that were destined to come up short, so to speak. How big was the difference in the culture between a team who might contend for a title and the culture of a team that is just trying to grow and become a good team?
You can tell the minute that you walk into an organization which team that you're playing for, whether it's a team finding identity or a team that believes in themselves. And it's a big difference. It's a difference in the way that the winners approach every day. It's a difference in the way that you take your job serious or that you approach the small things and pay attention to the details. And so you notice when you're in a good culture and a bad culture, and it all starts at the top. And hopefully, if you're fortunate to stay in this league a long time, long enough, you'll be around the right culture. But the right culture is just doing all the positive things when no one is watching and then hoping for great results. And when you do that, I think you're in a great culture. Terrific pass work. That shot's a lot easier after an assist like that.
Good work there as it goes.
And that set them apart today, guys. Their success with the mid-range.
Napier kicks to Connaughton. Nobody near Leonard. And Portland again with the bucket.
Well, he's doing his best to get them back into this game. He's been money from the field.
Here's Aldridge. That shot, no good. Great D that time from Leonard. Harkless dishes to Leonard. That's another one for him. His fifth in just 7 shots.
That pass into the paint, that is a work of art there. Dead on target.
Here's Muhammad. Solid play in the low block, and that one's good. The Trailblazers have gone 5 for 9 from the field in the final quarter so far. Muhammad with the steal. And the pass to Georges Hunt. Makes it off the glass. Georges Hunt's got 4 this quarter.
Well, we've seen that movie a few times, haven't we? An easy bucket in the paint.
Here's Connaughton. Misses the 3. For Minnesota, they've gone 6 of 11 since the start of the fourth quarter. Here's Aldridge. Great D that time from Leonard.
No one was even close to him there. He should have taken more time to get his legs under him before attempting that look.
Stolen away. Bielitsa passes to Aldridge. That one falls.
And I like that they're not settling. Getting the ball on the interior, 8 of their last 10 coming that way.
Napier kicks to Davis. A 3 from Leonard. Minnesota with the rebound. Here's Aldridge. It's rebounded by Leonard. Leonard's got double-digit rebounds now in the game. Harkless dishes to Napier. And you look at today's players, they have so many more ways to connect with their fans. But, Chris, at times, do you think that creates added pressure for the players?
Every player has pressure. I don't know about added pressure, but I do think it's a different time with social media, and you can hear everyone's opinion. So I think that you need to focus more if you're an athlete, but I don't think it adds more pressure. Because whether or not someone can type it or say it in your face or boo you at a game, you're going to hear those words.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
First one falls for him. Chris, if you were on the rules committee, what rule change would you like to see the NBA make going forward?
Kevin, there's not a rule I'd necessarily have changed, but I'd ask them to kind of reinterpret a couple of rules, and that goes with the flagrant foul. I often see so many plays that are just hard fouls called as flagrant fouls, and that can affect not only a player and later on whether it's a flagrant 2, but it can affect the game. It can affect the next game by how it's interpreted by a player being kicked out because of that. And so I just want to take the sensitivity or put the toughness back into that. So many flagrant fouls are called and they're not going at the head or they're chopping down on the wrist. And I just like to see it get back to be interpreted as it was a little while ago, maybe 20, 25 years ago.
There's the dish to Aminu. Napier passes to Aminu. To the middle. And finished off by Leonard.
Yeah, a nice, strong finish on the inside.
But Greg, that's what he does. He's got the dunker mentality. The Timberwolves have gone through the fourth quarter shooting 50%, 7 of 14. And it goes down 2 points. Muhammad's got 12 points here in the second half. Trailblazers shooting about 47% here in the fourth. And it's Aminu in the corner. Passes it to Connaughton. Three-pointer. Rebound by Bjelica. Bjelica's got 6 rebounds here tonight. Here's Muhammad. The putback. It's good on the putback.
And there's a pattern starting to take shape here. They're working it inside and getting good shots from close range.
And turnovers have been the issue for him.
You can see the coaches have gotten into him a little bit about this. They've got to do a better job of taking care of the ball.
Here's Aminu. That's good, and it's Leonard with the assist. Leonard's got 3 assists now in this one.
And you can see the play calling this half. Another one from distance.
Well, that's because they made a concerted effort to get the shooters involved. Now they've built up the confidence.
And there's the feed to Napier. It's stolen by Jones. And now the Timberwolves on the break.
And aggressive defense causing the mistake, then cashing in.
What a beautiful steal off of great anticipation. His instincts right there were right on.
Napier kicks to Aminu. Pass to Connaughton. Shot clock at 6. Second shot opportunity. Yep, that one goes.
Well, he played very poorly in the first half, but during the second half, he's feeling it. He's really flipped the on switch and owned it.
And there's the foul on the shot. He'll go to the line for 2. And Portland called for the foul.
At the line for 2.
Shooting 2.
And that one falls for Muhammad. Muhammad hits them both.
After being a little hesitant in the first, he looked much more intent on getting himself to the strike.
Dishes to Aminu. Launches it. And the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Aminu. The Timberwolves shooting 53% from the field in the fourth quarter. Can't ask for more than that from your offense. From deep. The shot, no good.
And you could tell he thought that triple was going to fall.
He kicks to Napier. Davis up top. He dishes it to Aminu. And that one falls, coming off of Davis's feed.
And they're just living beyond the arc here, really, the entire fourth quarter.
And you have to like this. Why? Because it's helping them space the floor, which can create other opportunities.
Aminu with a screen on Muhammad. Napier kicks to Leonard. Good for basket number 7 tonight on a not-so-unlucky 13 shots.
Oh, he has been dominant on offense. Who knows where they'd be in this game without his effort?
And he just elevates and powers in the one-hander.
Textbook. And the Trailblazers shooting pretty good tonight at 48%. Here's Napier, defended by Jones. Leonard, that's for 2. Offensive rebound. And Davis puts it in.
Look, he doesn't waste time. Once he gets the rebound, he does what he should. Goes right back up with it.
The 3-ball. Here's Jang. And good. Got the friendly bounce off the right side of the rim. Jang's got 6 in the quarter.
And you can see how this game is going. I mean, put a body on somebody.
Man, this is what happens when you get discouraged. Sometimes it just affects every part of your game.
And Minnesota has possession. Minnesota's gone 0-3 so far in the 4th quarter from long range. Crawford's shot is good. And for Portland, they're shooting it well here in the 4th quarter, 50%. And Jones over to help. Leonard dishes to Davis. That's good, and it's Leonard with the assist. Leonard's got his 4th assist with that last one here tonight. The Timberwolves shooting has been just fantastic, around 65% tonight, getting exactly what they want when they want it.
Oh, the feed was perfect. The timing, the placement, everything was right on the money.
Pass to Connaughton. And Gorgui Dieng is going to pick up the foul. That's foul number 2 for him. .144 left in the 4th quarter. The first one falls. And both free throws good for Napier. 1:43 left to play in the final quarter. Feeds it to Dieng, and that's out of bounds. Minnesota will retain possession. There's 1:38 left in the 4th quarter. And 2 shots coming up at the line as he gets fouled on the shot.
Yeah, easy call.
2 shots, gentlemen. 2.
Two shots.
Two shots.
And that one falls for Jamal Crawford. And so Jamal Crawford nails both of them.
Well, Terry Stotts now in his 6th season as head coach in Portland. I mean, he'd been a head coach for a handful of seasons elsewhere, but this is by far his longest run with a single team.
Well, guys, this was never really a contest, just a total obliteration, if you will. And you can safely say mission accomplished now for Minnesota.
And this was one that never really was in doubt, I thought, an all-around dominant performance. And you kind of thought that maybe even going into the game.
Yeah, there was a sense of that, and man, they just pretty much blew them right out of the water. A clinic was put on display here today.
And so it'll boost this year's win total for them to 29.
And as we get set to put this one to bed, a one-sided season series thus far, they've won 2 straight.
And you know, when you look at the huge impact he had, just a monster game for Kari-Anthony Towns.
He had a nose for the basketball tonight, playing some disruptive D and picking pockets left and right. And every point is critical now. You can't afford to let these opportunities pass you by.
Here's Kari-Anthony. Rebound, Minnesota. Bielitsa's got rebound number 8 now on the night. Here's Muhammad. And out of bounds as the Trailblazers gain possession. .102 left here in the 4th quarter. Here's Napier, defended by Jones. So it's Minnesota now, and it's out of bounds. Last touch by Jones. And the Timberwolves call time here. They're in front. There's 49 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Chance now to recognize our Jordan Player of the Game, Kari-Anthony Towns.
And guys, he's been about as close to perfection as you can be. The intensity he's played with has been amazing. Just no let up. And as fired up as he's been, he's never let his emotions get out of control.
He sure has given this crowd a treat tonight. This kind of performance only cements his status as a fan favorite. .46 seconds left in the 4th quarter. It's stolen by Jones. And now here comes Jones leading the break. Crawford's shot is good.
I tell you what, the energy in this arena, you can feel it.
Well, a well-earned victory, feeding off the energy of this hometown crowd really all night.
On, here we go. Crawford. Oh!
And how much longer are they going to keep that foot on the accelerator?
At this point, it's just icing on the cake. Terrific run, closes it out.
4 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. Doubled by Crawford. Here's Connaughton. The three-pointer, no good. It's Bielitsa. Portland grabs the miss. Here's Napier. Ball's knocked loose. So it's Minnesota winning this one easily. They won this game going away. They were the better basketball team by far tonight.
And you got to commend this sort of dominance, particularly here at home. It's a great feeling when you play almost a perfect game and to have that crowd be so pumped up.
It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Thank you, Kevin. Jimmy, how confident are you that you guys can build on this win and keep the momentum going?
Very confident. Like I said, we got a great group of guys. If we play together, play hard, we can win.
I know you'll like to keep that going as we go on in the season. Thank you for your time. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David, thank you. And that about wraps it up. For Chris Webber, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. So long.